Oh boy, am I ever glad my mic was muted during that intro, because I sneezed so hard and bounced my forehead off my mic. Jesus Christ, what's poppin' everyone? It's your boy Levi. How you guys doing today? I see a lot of you here at the start. It's lovely to see. This is the first stream since 2 weeks, I think. I missed last week. Hope you guys are all doing well though. So today we're going to be doing some more live coaching. We have 6 submissions, I believe, so we'll try to get through all of them. Should be around like a 2.5 hour stream, 2 hours-ish. We'll see how we do. I see some of you guys in the chat that have also submitted, which is nice. But there will be timestamps at the time of uploads if you do miss your part. But we can talk for a bit here at the beginning as I see my chat's broken on screen. Give me a second. It's like it's either broken or super behind. But about that dev journal, have you guys all read it this morning? My submission has not aged well. You'll be okay, Jynx. That dev journal was definitely interesting. Okay, hopefully my chat will catch up with me soon. It's a little behind. Hi Feline, how's it going? My submission is probably not the best game I've had. I've been playing so badly. That's okay. We're all here to learn. This is a judgment-free zone. We are not going to roast anyone for bad plays. We are here to learn. Hopefully your submissions will help everybody. But yeah, that dev journal. That was oh boy. Am I concerned about some of the mastery changes? I think a lot of the crafting changes are really good. A lot of those mastery changes are... We'll have to see, because I can see them getting fully reverted for like after a week. You want to submit something? I encourage you to do so. I'll have probably a form for the next one coming up on Thursday. I definitely encourage you to submit something. Yeah, the devlog is something for sure. Way too much in one go. Yeah, this so if you guys haven't heard, there is a dev stream, I believe, on the 29th. Give me a second to check that date just to make sure. Yeah, open up my calendar here. I don't have it in my calendar. Where is it? Oh no. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there's a dev stream on the 29th. So we'll probably do a reaction stream to that, see what everything is going on. But I imagine it's going to have to do some heavy lifting for some of these dev journals. The next dev journal is going to talk more about some of the crafting and legendary items with like air supply, which I think those are pretty good changes, like the changes to air supply, but hopefully they address the mastery changes. Yeah, the selective stats I think is super interesting, but I'm kind of for it. There's some in-depth discussion over on my community tab if you guys want to contribute to that. We're just talking about the dev journal. It's been pretty exciting though. They're all pretty exciting. Really quickly before I start though, I just want to test something, because the only thing I don't have set up about my stream is if music plays in the background, what happens, and I can only test it while live. So if you guys hear music, then just ignore it and hopefully this VOD doesn't get copyright, because I'm only gonna play 2 seconds of it. But if not, it is set up correctly then. Okay, remind myself to go back in the VOD and check that out to see if that works. Sorry, I'm getting Cobalt invited on Eternal Turn. So hopefully you guys didn't hear anything there. But yeah, so our first submission, we'll bring up the form and get started here. Actually, I'll play the submission video just so that those of you who are new here can get a feel for like how this shit goes. Welcome to the It's Levi's replay review livestream. Simply fill out the form in the video description or on my community tab ahead of the stream, and your game will be considered for a review during the livestream. Live coaching is completely free, so don't feel the need to super chat or spam the chat trying to get one. It'll be ignored. After the stream, the VOD will stay up so you can always come back to this stream. There will be timestamps in the description in case you missed your review. If you submit a game for a review, you can expect the following. I'm sharing my knowledge and experience with Eternal Return to help you become a better player. All advice, tips, and tricks will be based on my own experiences. The aim is to make you a better player, so please feel free to ask questions in the chat whether it's your own game or someone else's. But do not put anyone down if they make a bad play or die. We're all here to learn and get better. Thank you so much for checking out the stream. Leave a like if you enjoy and let a friend know so we can have more submissions. The more people that submit, the more you're likely to learn. Let's get started. I also just realized that my socials are a little outdated on that video. I'm gonna have to update that at some point. Jesus, I got so much to do, dude. I hope we're all ready for release because it's going to be an exciting time. I've got so much content planned. But anyways, first response. First up this week was Cheys. Let me just grab their replay code. Haven't been reviewed before. Hello, Levi. I want to know what errors or mistakes I did in this replay. I shared some pro tips and matchup tips. Been playing like a month. I play Rio so much, but this time I'm playing Nicky. This is my 16th game using Nicky. Her combo is so fun to play. And also I'm playing on duo with my friend who's using Elena. Nicky Elena seems like a good combo. And he doesn't play ER that much. Eternal Return is my first right mouse button movement game I've played. I haven't played ball or any right mouse button movement game before, but so far experience is quite fun. Sorry if my grammar is bad. Anyways, hopefully we get coached by a pro player named Levi. Congrats on your 1K subs. Yes, thank you. We did hit 1K subs. It's super exciting. For those of you who want to submit a replay, this one is closed. I will have it open on Thursday probably for the next one, so hopefully you guys can get in on that. But for today's, I put these up like 2 weeks in advance, so there's tons of time to submit. But I'm glad we have both Nicky players here for the Nicky replay. You guys should be able to help with the matchup tips. This tends to keep happening. Every time a character or a player submits for a specific character, those character players tend to be in the chat, which is kind of funny. So they're playing duos and they asked for matchup tips as well as like general advice. This is their first right mouse button clicking game, which is interesting to me because I feel like that's kind of the default for most games now. You play auto Nicky? Nicky's so weird right now because I feel like I see like, I feel like I don't see amp Nicky very often anymore. Okay, so first things first, I'm pretty sure with this Nicky build, yeah, you got this cluster here, which is great, but I don't think you need to loot these because I believe you go into hotel or forest next. So I think running straight down to this distribution is probably the more optimal play. I don't play too much Nicky though, so I don't know the routings too much for her. But notice how you had to come pretty much over here anyway. This box here is technically part of the distribution, but these are just one-offs. So it's pretty much, if you're just gonna run here anyways, you might as well just run straight here. Yeah, and then you're going to hotel anyway, so you pretty much have to come this way anyway. So that'll just help speed up your routing a little bit. Same with these ones. These ones aren't like real clusters. Just focus on the ones inside here. And had you had run straight here, you actually would have beat this Jackie here anyway. So you wouldn't have to worry about items getting taken. I think Nicky runs spirit culling. I can't actually tell, but I would assume you're probably good on SP. It's nice to see a bunch of new faces here. Well, I hope you guys enjoy these coaching streams. They're a lot of fun to do. Matchup tips are a little bit difficult for me because I don't play every character. What I'd suggest with Nicky is like timing your parry for like the most important spell instead of kind of just throwing it out there. Some matchups are going to be a little bit different because the spells aren't weighted the same. And then some matchups you're just going to straight auto lose because that's kind of how Nicky is as a character. Levi content, Shiara Shuffle. We should have emotes coming soon, hopefully. As I stated earlier, this is the first stream since we hit 1K on YouTube, so not partner badges, loyalty badges and emotes coming soon. You'll be able to super chat and become a member, or become a royal, because that's what my membership is called. It's similar price to a Twitch sub. I can't actually edit the interval of prices, so it was either like $1 more than a Twitch sub or $3 less than a Twitch sub, so I apologize for that, but I'm trying to keep them roughly the same. And I'll also upload the emotes to my Twitch channel in case you want to sub there. I don't know how much I'll stream on there, but if it will allow you to use the emotes on Twitch that way. The classic boar bait. So I believe boars and wolves, you can't parry instantly, otherwise it won't trigger. And I think dogs and bats, you parry instantly because they like instantly attack. I think that's how that works. I'm sure one of the Nicky players can help me out. So night one, we're taking the split farming route. Your partner is over here at Temple Tree, so good that you're staying safe for them while they get an objective. Glad you ran away from the Rozzi matchup because that one's pretty much unplayable for Nicky, especially early. Do I prefer streaming on YouTube rather than Twitch? I think my content fits more on YouTube for the type of style that I do. I think Twitch is more like entertaining based rather than educational, so I might stream on Twitch a little bit when game releases if I do like entertaining stuff, but for the most part, YouTube will kind of always be like my home. I also want a preference. I don't typically play duos too much, so keep in mind some of the advice I give for duos might not be the best, but your partner got Tree with green weapon and uncompleted build, so that's very interesting. Typically, you said they were new to ER, but yeah, when you contest objectives, you want to definitely be full build. You want to also be full build by night one. Is it all duos today? No, I'm not sure what submissions we got, but it was mainly like this first one would happen to be duos. I know there's a few solos in there. Try to finish your build by night one. There you go. Got the parry timing on the animals there, so just wait a second for the boar. Sometimes boards are weird. I know sometimes you can instantly parry it. I just parry the pork chop. Yeah, if you wait for the pushback, you'll get it every time. It's just more reliable probably, unless you're in like a do or die situation. Meteorite and Alpha spawning next to each other. I'd like to see you group up with your partner here, and it looks like they're heading over towards you. This is such a cursed build, which is good because you guys will have control over 2 objectives. Whenever there's like 2 objectives grouped up as one, you're typically gonna see a high traffic area. Not going for Alpha is fine because your partner's not full build, but make sure at least like one person's always staying safe for the other, especially if one's not full build yet. I actually like how you peeled off Apple to go help your partner here. If one of you do fall behind, you might have to like abandon the split farming concept and just like make sure the other gets their build online. I also support sticking together for like newer players, just so that you can always have 2 people in your fight. Hi CJ, how's it going? Is Vanya good? I like Vanya a lot in duos. I think she's got some really good utility. I think she's a little bit harder to pull off in solos, but in team modes, getting multiple man sleeps are pretty good. I'm not too sure how important managing your rage bar at all times would be as Nicky. I know you probably want to have rage more times than not, but just careful when you're walking around with no rage. You will have to build it up before any sudden fights. Partner's build is online, which is good, and you guys have food and SP. I imagine both of you run spirit culling. But one thing you guys can do if you are struggling to make food or you're playing with a newer player and don't want to bother making food is take the logistics augment and it'll give you disinfectant, which you can use as food for each night. Jynx, I saw you drawing yesterday. Also, your engagement ring is super pretty. I love the whole sun and moon concept. Nightmare Nails is a first upgrade. I would reference the character Discord just to make sure you're getting your upgrades in order. It could be the correct upgrade. I don't see Nicky too often, so I think most people try to rush tree on her. It might even be like worth grouping up with Elena and going for tree and then building your permafrost, I think the glove is called. I also like that you're here for right on time for hospital tree. You do want to keep keeping your mastery up. You are contesting objectives, which is good, but your partner is a little bit behind in mastery, so just making sure they're getting hits on the hunts as well, that they're near you when you take hunts. There is proximity XP. Good parry on the bears. Elena and Nicky seems like a solid comp. I think those characters can focus one person and send them into a chamber of infinite CC. Yeah, I think basically it doesn't matter who initiates. You just want to try and lock down one character and then the other character take the 2v1. I would say focus whoever seems like more of the threat in the comp, but it's likely you might be able to just burst whoever has the least amount of mobility down and then focus the other target. I can imagine this comp gets a little dicey when someone can kite you out or get out of Elena's freeze. But yeah, just focus on when you're taking hunts, make sure you take them with your partner, just so they're not falling in XP. You are going to be majority of the damage in this comp, so I would probably build the transitions on you, especially because you have to frontline for Elena too, with them being a newer player. I play Lennox, Ava, Hayes, and a little bit of Kathy. Like your amp characters, huh? Are you playing too many characters? I wouldn't say you're playing too many. You're playing a lot of different style characters. I think Ava and Hayes are a little similar, but Lennox kind of is different than all of those characters, and Kathy's also kind of different than all those characters. I would stick to one style, but you can't. There's no such thing, I think, as playing too many characters as long as you're having fun playing them. I think there can be too many characters if you're trying to learn the game, but that's like a different question. I thought I learned the game, but recently been losing a lot. Granted, I never get many wins, but I consistently got to top 3. I think one of the things that got suggested on my community tab is that what winning in Eternal Return is, and I don't know about you guys, but winning for me is anything would be a positive LP. So like even like if I get 9th place but I got like 3 kills, that's a win for me. Like I really think that they should change the like dying screen to be like different if you were in a situation where you get positive LP, because I think only seeing like a winning screen when you win is a little what do you call it, like disencouraging for new players. But I would focus on like how many things you do right in a game rather than if you actually get the win at the end, especially because a lot of characters like aren't meant to win games. If you play a character like Shoichi, even Kathy, like you're not gonna win a lot of games. I like that you guys were in a bear zone in Temple. I should talk about this game more. At nighttime, bears, night hunts. We still have the spectator bug, so I think it's daytime right now. But when you're in Temple, I believe it was nighttime. This bug is annoying because I can't actually see what time of game it is, but I believe it's day 3 day. Learning this version of the game is going to be different from version 1.02, so pretty soon we're all going to be learning again. Yeah, there's going to be a bit of a learning curve for everyone. And I think that's good because it'll even out a lot of the skill levels. I think how quickly people learn 1.0 is what's going to separate a lot of players, but mechanically it should mostly be the same, other than a few characters are getting their knees chopped off. Ava. Adriana. 0% ranked win rate Shoichi here. The number one Shoichi in KR has like a 5% win rate on like 150 games. So if you're playing Shoichi, do not worry about winning the game. Focus on getting lots of kills. Just gonna do a quick mastery check on everyone. We have a lot of rat teams left. We have 12 on this team, but it's only 13 is the highest in the game. So like you guys are up in mastery. Your lane is a little bit behind, but you're relatively equal in mastery. It's not too much of a detriment to farm mastery together. So I would really focus on taking hunts together, and I think you'll find that you guys are taking fights evenly. Chasing the rat's okay here because you want kills. Just keep in mind Wick has spawned and is pretty much alone here in Pond. Like, had you guys just taken it here when it spawned, this would have been yours. Wick is super important objective. Will help you win more games. Just be aware of your surroundings more. So that was likely a free Wick. I don't think the ISIL Daniel team would have gotten there in time. Especially because this ISIL Daniel team doesn't have any CC. Like, they have ISIL Q and that's it. Realistically, if they Q you or Elena, you guys can both get out of it. So there's nothing really they can do to your team. I think you guys can just force an engage on them. Should I try playing ranked since I'm about to hit level 30? You can. Ranked provides a more, like, closer skill gap in your opponents. So you might enjoy it more. It's also a little bit more stressful because you kind of get a better idea of like what is a good game and what is a bad game. I would say if you want to have fun, ranked is a lot more fun than normals. It's a really good parry there, and the double E. Great fight right there. I think another underrated part of this comp is Elena doesn't necessarily have to wait to get the freeze to do the double freeze shatter. She can kind of just ult off you, but that's pretty much ideally how you want to go into every fight, is getting your parry off on as many members as possible, getting your double E off. Really good fight out of you guys there. I'm looking forward to the blue and red twins coming out. Yeah, I'm really excited for Debbie and Marlene. I think they're probably one of my most look forward characters. I was hoping they would come out this season, but we didn't get any characters this season, unfortunately. The Jackie skin is quite fire. I also like it. I think it's one of the best cadet skins we've gotten. I spent hours staring at her goofy little smile. Yeah, many people are excited for Arda too. So we're grouped up here. It's you and one other team left. I would make sure you do some final preparations. Because you know that you're going against an ISIL. He doesn't have traps now, but ISIL is notorious for building traps. Make sure that you have EMP drones, which is these right here. They will disable any traps. They work just like cameras with larger range. You just put them down in an area and they nullify all traps. This also counts for ISIL's ultimate. You can cancel out his ultimate, which is, if you're playing a hard engage comp like this, will be very good for you guys, considering you're probably going to have to dive onto him to win. But I do like that you're controlling an area with not so much time left. We have this bug again where I think it's day 4 day, but this is going to be really annoying to deal with. I'm glad you guys are staying together after day 3. And you should be seeing ISIL come in, depending on which way they walk, I guess. If they take this boar, you'll see pings. I do like that you're establishing zone control. I do wish you were with Elena here. I think you do need to be closer, because that could have been an engage right there. They would have had to ward check the bush, and you could have queued onto the ISIL. ISIL caught out here. Good parry. I would ult him. Good job. Lock down the ISIL. And the Elena kind of exploded the Daniel, which I wasn't expecting. I thought Elena would have had to jump on with you. If they were a little bit stronger, I would say have Elena dive the ISIL with you. In that comp, Daniel is notorious for only having single target damage. Even ISIL too, but he's more of a threat being AR. I would both dive the ISIL, not worry about the Daniel too much. But overall, super clean fight. The fight before that was also really clean. Yeah, I would just focus more on staying together while you're doing your hunt rotations to try and stay equal in mastery. But other than that, pretty clean game for you two. You definitely didn't show that you had any problems with right mouse button clicking. It all seemed fine other than like the parry at the beginning. But you're definitely coming. It definitely looked like you knew what you were doing. All right, next up. Next up is Jynx. There you go, Jynx. Jynx is a gold plat player. So many wins feel like flukes, even when they're huge wins. I'd like to know what I'm doing right and what parts are good / future good matchups so I know what to continue doing in ranked games. Sure, Jynx, we can have a look. I also just need to reply to this message really quick. So you said this didn't age well, Jynx? How many submissions did we get today? 6. This aged poorly because I hit gold in 9 games last week. Oh no. Hotel start. Oh, I'm unfamiliar with this build.
Give me a bottle of good liquor and I'll be up in a second.
Really quickly, run to this box first. Go this one and then all the way up. It's just a little bit quicker. Not a big deal though. Especially when you can cover large distances with E. This is your new Bookmaster plan? Oh, I forgot about that item. What stats does this give? I forgot they introduced this item. 36 amp, 2 amp per level, 12% cooldown. This is it's not bad. Ooh. But I hate this build path. But oh, I really hate this build path. But yeah, that's some pretty good stats though. I am glad you're walking down to this teleporter instead of forcing your way back up to here. I see that all the time. It's less amp for CDR. Get more spell rotations. One thing I will say, this is okay. So you got an unlooted, well, one box is looted, but if this is ever like you check these first 2 boxes and they're looted, just TP in the temple and hope you don't get that spawn. It's a bit faster than like walking down to these. I'm not sure how many distributions you need, but if you ever find that that first distribution's looted, it's just quicker to TP in. I moved it to archery towards beach. Oh, fair enough. Gotcha, gotcha. This game started immensely rough. You're on decent pace, I think. I think we're a little bit slower. I'm assuming you're playing on EU as well. I don't recognize any of these names. Yeah, we're not bad. We're not on bad pace. This is a good pace. High Priest robes. I think that's kind of standard for Sua. Need that cooldown reduction cap. Gonna also assume we're running Spirit Calling based on this SB. Yeah, we are. Okay, so far so good.
One less inconvenience for you.
If you have the time, probably could take console. It's not too big of a deal. There's just gonna be no one contesting it for this tree anyways. I would imagine this is gonna go into Horus. Oh, Rio TP's in. I think you can just wait in this bush. I think regardless of if she like, I think the only way she doesn't die if you wait in this bush is if she longbow checks it from like out here, which if she does anyway, you just walk away. It's gonna be in a tough spot here, not the double ranged. Rio's still in longbow form. I think that's gonna, yeah, that's gonna get you out. Had she been short bow, good dodge right there. You might have been dead there. Is she full build? She is, yeah. She really wants this kill. I think you're out though. Oh, ease into you. That's a dead Rio. A little bit troll there by the Rio. We'll call that an outplay for you, but a minor troll by the Rio. But good play. Hit your Qs, hit your E, got your knock up. Good hammer. Or you don't have hammer skill yet, but good plays there. I do like Temple into Uptown. I think that's a really good route for a tree users. I think you got your bear stolen, but typically Temple tree into like pathing down into pond for these bears, or if you're here for like a long time, Uptown's a pretty good chance at getting bears. Is that Manta? Oh, I didn't even notice that was Manta. That's funny. I think that's like either good intuition or just like really good pathing. Temple into Uptown. Uptown and Alley are kind of the two where bears tend to be up later. Dock and Beach usually get taken instantly. Sometimes Alley does too. We're here for the attack zone, which is good. Being able to overwhelm. I would have all-in'd off that first Q hit. You might have been a little bit surprised that you were going to hit it, but I think that was definitely your opportunity. A little bit of force on the second Q or the ult Q, but it's fine. We reset the fight, can do it again. I don't think William gets baseballs off the drones, so I think you can just wait for them to drop off. Actually, he can hold them for a long time. I did not know he could hold them for that long. I would definitely... I don't think it mattered really there, but I would probably use the blind on William, even if, like, it looks like you're getting hit by W2. Probably just E, or start your E through W2 so you get the invulnerable. I don't think you need to CC yourself in that matchup. But good play to hit the E. Yeah, your Qs are very good. I think William honestly has the longest basic attack range in the game, so it's probably one of your harder matchups. To avoid the slow, fair enough. So you went tree with the reward.
One less inconvenience for you.
Does that go to Horus? Is Horus a better upgrade than Evening Star? Got Rozzi and Beach here. It's a Rozzi favored matchup, so probably best not to take it, especially when you have your upgrade available, so I like that decision. We have bears coming up here, or are they already taken? Yeah, bears coming up here, so I think you could hang around. Knowing Rozzi's here is a little tough, but depending on like where she pings, like if she pings on the top bear, you might be able to get like one of these bottom bears. Oh, these are really desynced actually. Whoever took these bears, like, took them very slowly. I think you could probably gamble on the Rozzi matchup. It's maybe not with 2 transitions. It's definitely Rozzi favored. Gonna burn some timer here to enter bottom side of forest. I think you probably would have been okay just walking around. You would have gotten 2 hunts out of it too. Do you run Theo? It's impossible she plays reactive. It's fairly Rozzi favorite. What's going on up here? Manta griefing this Vanya. I do like that you Q check a lot of your bushes. Sua is fairly safe though with ER away. Do you run Thea? The vision green augment. Oh no. You run, what is it, Chain of Thorns plus something? I don't remember what these green augments are called. Oh, Penny Pincher probably. Whatever makes you do more damage to CC targets. Defense from healing. I gotta look at the augments. PBS, thanks. I think they're called thorns, right? Like the one, the green augment that makes you do more damage when you're CC'd. But if you run blue, yeah, that's fair. Oh, this one? Oh, embolden? Gotcha. Thorn Shackles. What did I call it? Crown of Thorns? I think that's the item. Yeah, Thorn Shackles. I think Thorn Shackles is probably very good on Sua. If you prefer the blue tree though, that's a whole different story. Omega here, yeah, once again, got Rozzi to deal with. Might be worth, like, trying to pressure her. See if she blows some cooldowns on Omega that you might be able to look engaged for, but keep yourself safe. She can't really chase you is the only thing. She's still got level 1 pistol skill, so she shouldn't be able to catch up to you. Prefer it to 5% more damage since Sua already has tons. Fair enough. I'm sure you've done some testing for it. Rozzi on a mega? Nope, screw that. Yeah, I mean, that's very valid. A lot of the time, depending on the matchup, I just run away from whoever is doing anything. I do like that we're in forest for daytime. We do have our hunt rotation pretty set. If you don't plan on going to Wick, I would probably check for these bears again. Jenny's probably a little bit easier to deal with than Rozzi, but probably still not a good matchup. But I would also stick around for these wolves here. I'm assuming you're probably gonna call it in blood or force core once you get enough credits. It's kind of a hard call in without Penny Pincher though. We're gonna appear here in forest. Interesting that we didn't get the daytime nighttime bug. But glad you're here for wolves. This is good. You're definitely keeping up the mastery, it looks like. You're 12. You got UQ 15. He's got 50 hunts still. Still at 14. Black's with 13. Rozzi at 15. You have 12 and Jenny has 12. So a little bit behind, but for the most part, still in line. Good either. CC yourself on the ult. Good timing. Jenny ult's a little deceptive. Really good kill there. I don't think there's much you could have done to play that better. I think that's pretty much as good as it gets right there. The thing with Jenny, and I'm sure most range matchups, if you throw your Q a little bit behind, they either have to like dodge into you or get hit by it. So a little early there. Interesting parry by the Yuki. With no no weapon skill for that fight, that's definitely gonna go your way. Might have been a little bit different had Yuki had played that better, but good kill there as well. I would be careful about choosing whether to blind or immune yourself. I think if you blind Yuki on the Q, it doesn't consume the Q. Maybe it does, I'm not sure. But if you like CC yourself, it consumes the Q. You eat a little bit too late. Did you eat too late or were you just a little bit out of range? Because I think it's fine, more or less. Are gonna have to give up Wick to it. Lennox for that. Not really your fault because you would have had to walk through the Yuki anyway, but you should get bears here, which is what I'd like to see. I think while you're here, you can also look for hatchets. Are you just gonna straight TP? You have like the ward vision set up. I think you can take these bears and be fine. I don't think you have to get out of here immediately. About the W, I'm not sure how the W interaction for Yuki works, where if you blind Yuki, does it consume his Q stun, or if you CC yourself, does it consume his Q? Or do they both work the same way? I rush for blood there. I think it's fine. You still have like 2 consoles open. Lennox is at this one, and you can always call in here from factory, so I don't think you had to rush it immediately. At some point, like 4 transitions, 6 transitions, kind of the same thing on some characters, you know? But like the difference between like 15 mastery, 17 mastery, a little bit bigger. I see you've been converted to the vigor, Sua now. You don't get CC or damage with the blind, but you get damage with the shield. Gotcha. That makes sense. I also like that we're at the gold box here. Lennox is going to take this one down here, so you should get vision that this one is yours. Oh, it's day 4 already. We have the bug again. I'm a Sports Watch apologist. Oh no. Did you get humbled by Sports Watch? Or by Vigor? I know like it wasn't your thing for like the longest time. So it looks like we're gonna get a rematch with the William. You should know you're here from the pings. I think yeah, you'll see a ping here too, so you should know he's here. No, I just realized how insane those numbers are. Yeah. I jinxed the bug. I kind of did. Calling for the William here. Has no stack, so probably look to engage here. This should be a free kill. There's the blinds. A little bit of a wild Q, but... Oh, Jynx. Jynx, honey. We won't talk about this Q here. This one I'll forgive. This one, if he walks around the corner, you know, it's like you're queuing behind him, so he has to dodge in front. That one's fine. We're not going to talk about the Q on the inside there. I'll allow the first one, but a little bit of skill shot accuracy there. If you look at this Lennox, Like, you can see that their wick is like seconds from running out. So like, you might as well just wait like the 10 seconds that this is gonna take. And this will be a much easier fight. I'm assuming you win this fight anyway, because you're kind of just beating her ass. That E is actually gonna help you out. Yeah, you ended up just stat checking her, I think, to just hit more abilities than she did. But just make sure you're conscious of like wick buff. She literally had 10 seconds out, and I would have hated to see you lose that fight just because of like a wick bleed for the extra damage. So just check what you're up against beforehand. I might have accidentally bumped my wrist for that one. It happens. It's always happens. I've definitely thrown out Rozzi ults by like 5 feet to the left just because of like flinched as I was doing it. I was sweating to dodge those W's. Yeah, definitely the important part is not getting silenced there. Q is pretty unavoidable in that matchup, I imagine. You had a good shield on the whip skill. But yeah, just make sure you're aware of like how little wick buff is left. Had she have hit more abilities, it probably would have been a little bit closer. I think you still would have won it, but really good gameplay, Jynx. I would just also look into hunt rotations, like just making sure you're keeping your mastery up. The thing I see a lot with Korean players is that they'll hold transitions for mastery. Like the amount of times I've seen players just sit with like a mithril in their inventory for like a full day's worth of time to make sure that they get their hunt rotations are pretty much every game. They definitely value hunt rotations and credit farming more than getting transitions. So I would have taken those beach bears, hold off on blood a little bit, especially with only 2 players left. The idea that you're going to TP onto someone because there's only 2 players left is super low. So you kind of can get out of fights if you don't have to. It will happen at times, but it's super unlikely. If there's like 10 people left in the lobby, I kind of support that decision then, because it's like someone's going to take the console, or you need to go like now to be stronger than like half the lobby. But I think that's one of those things where it's like you just take a breath, relax a little bit, and assess the situation. But really good play. Strong mechanical play, which I think is super important too. A lot of really good fights. The Yuki fight was really good. The first William fight was super good. Hey Hawk, how's it going? Alright, up next we have Froot. They're silver and under. I'm trying to get better at closing out fights / resetting. I usually main Mai, so I always get into the habit of all ins, even when it's not in my favor, and when I switch to play Vanya, I often get ran down because I use E too soon in the fight. This game had a pretty close final zone, so I want to know how I could have played that better. Sure. Picking your fights is a skill that you just kind of have to learn for Eternal Return, especially if you're playing solos. There's a lot of 100-0 matchups. Mai has a little bit less than them, because her matchups are either, are they amp? Okay, you don't fight it. Are they basic attacks? Yes, you do fight it. But Vanya's a little bit different. You've been taking an extended break. Breaks are good for the head. I need to take a ERBS break at the end of the season, I think, for a little bit, but
Give me a bottle of good
this is on Vanya. Okay, cool. The second William fight was such a painful stat check after the first combo. Sometimes we take those. Good use of E here. Getting over that wall. Glad you didn't just choose to walk all the way around or use it earlier. Good looting pattern here for hospital as well. This is a full lobby. Also looks like it might be on KR. Hey, that's you. Yeah, you're on the screen. Glad you're here for your replay, though. Welcome to the stream. So far, so good during the looting phase. Man, I hate Vanya can't figure out the play against her. It depends on the character that you play. Some things to look out for Vanya is that she kind of wants to, like, extended fights. So if you feel like the fight's gonna go long with based on the character you play. Try like either like poking her out first before you commit to an all-in. She can consistently just keep shielding herself, so try not to get baited into taking prolonged fights with her. This is, I believe, similar to the Silvia routing, which I don't know if Silvias are still going that route, but I would be careful for Silvias on this route early. But for the most part, this is going to set up a pretty good hunt rotation for you. You can clear out wolves in Avenue as they spawn. You're on a decent pace. You're a little bit slower because I think this build can finish by wolf spawn, but not too bad. We'll reset off the boards here, not too big of a deal. Just be careful because you still are 2 items under. If you do need leather, I do recommend the chickens in chapel or in hospital. But have the glacial prep too, which is nice. I would also either like, let me get my map open. I would either loot in like, if you start at this side, I would like loop up and go around this way. Or if you're on this side, I would like loop and go around this way. Especially if you're dipping in the pond. Just so it makes it easier to take hunts when you get through the zone. Night one here, we're looking for a ribbon. You're gonna get bonked here by the Magnus. Yeah. This Magnus isn't too threatening here, but just make sure that like you're not against walls. It's a good kill here because you had the damage, but he also wasted his spin to stop your sleep. But just just make sure where you're standing when the Magnus walks by.
One less inconvenience for you.
Gonna see Yuki on berries here, so probably gonna get there in time to contest them too. Or just give them, either one. I think you might have been able to get there in time, but I think looting or farming Avenue is probably your better play, and then walking into Temple to get these bears here. Hospital wolves are up, which is nice. These typically won't be up. This poor Hayes is on copium. I gotta imagine that Hayes was either AFK at the start or had trouble getting their items, but good kill there. So also be careful using your W to farm because it does have a longer cooldown when you proc the bubble part of it for W2. Yeah, especially when you're chasing, right? Like, it's an extra 2 seconds, I think, if... Yeah, using... Oh, it's way more than that. Jesus. Using the skill increases cooldown by 5.74. So it's basically an extra 6 seconds if you use the bubble. So definitely when you're chasing, you don't want to be bubbling. I didn't realize it was 6 seconds. That's so much time. So we chose not to go to Battle Zone, which I think is fine. But just remember, like, had you finished your build in Avenue, you can also use Return back to Avenue on day 2 to get the hunts, which looks like what you're doing. This is a full hunt rotation had you had cleared out this side of Avenue 2. But these wolves will be spawning, so you do want to be there for that. I think it's a good decision if you're not going to go Battle Zone. What does W bubble do? It does bonus damage. So like W is like just this movement speed here, and then this is W2 where you just like slam down. It's an extra cooldown to do the slam down. Otherwise you just like peter out. If you don't need the damage, it's always better to just not use the slam. Like that. And as you can see, it's only 5 seconds now instead of 12. I do like a call in here. I think this is pretty good if you don't go Battle Zone or Alpha. Mastery is super good too. You're 10 Mastery on day 2 morning. This should be for Empress or Glacial Shoes, either one. This dog and this boar here, you can link together and farm at the same time, just to save time. See a few Danyas do it with the ult for a confirmed hit. Yeah, the W doesn't wake up sleeping targets, so it's a really good play to proc the ult sleep with your W for the bonus damage. It's kind of her base combo. Super good to do. It's a nice burst of damage. You just want to make sure that when you're ulting as Vanya, you do save an ability so you can proc that bonus damage. I've seen a lot of Vanya's QWE and then ult and then have nothing up to proc it. Level 10 Chiara with 2 transitions, probably just want to stay away from her. Kind of let her TP out, just get away from you. Don't really want that fight. She will just stat check you. We are holding on to Glacial Ice, which makes me think you're looking for Arcana. I do like how you've prepped a lot of other items along the route while keeping your hunts up. That's a really hard skill to do, I think. But I think it plays a part on why your mastery is so high. Toho Jazzmix, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to Demon Gang. Hope you enjoy the channel. Not sure if you're actually here or you just subscribed off the video, but appreciate that.
Check if there's any alcohol.
Nicky on here, 2 mastery under with 2 transitions. I think that is fightable still. Just know that Ekion also wants a prolonged fight, so it's a little bit of a hard matchup too. Is that music from Tsubasa Chronicles? Is that from the Madoka Magica series? Because if it is, then yes.
One less inconvenience for you.
Yeah, it's from one of the Madoka series. Sidewinder. Sidewinder Ekion. I see it a little bit. It's more of the like caster Ekion. I think Shubi plays it a little bit. I picked up prepping transition from Mai because Phantom Jacket gave me PTSD trying to craft when I started playing. Fair enough. So we are here for Battle Zone. This is good. I like that you made your way into a Battle Zone. Didn't go to the first one, so here for the second one is good. Not particularly sure which Battle Zone which Battle Zone Vanya prefers, but Shield's probably fine. Gonna have a 1v1 with Yuki here. I think, is this 2H Yuki? It's the other Yuki. This is dual swords Yuki, so you don't have to worry about parry in this matchup, which is nice. You can kind of just throw out the ult whenever. And you have position advantage on this Yuki as well. I would worry about playing around this bush a little bit. You don't have a camera, so he can hide in there. I would also probably E right away if he E's. That way you can stop the Q with your dash. As well as create some space for you. Should be a win for you, I believe. The shielding's gonna come in clutch. Okay, good job there. But yeah, let's just talk about that really quick. So Yuki E'd into you here, right? Onto the drone. Oh, pick a different color. Yuki like E'd into you here. I think if you E out this way immediately, because he's gonna EQ you, right? Like that's his. It's dual swords Yuki. It's his only plays to like EQ you here, and even if he holds it, like he can't catch up to you anyway. So if you E here, you go invulnerable and stop the stun, and you create yourself some space again. And he kind of just does the L sit where he sits here with like his abilities up, and he either has to like run into you and then dual swords rampage raw without hitting an ability. And if he does that, then you can throw out the ult here since he can't 2H it. Or he just sits here and waits for his cooldowns to come back up. And then you just keep doing the same thing again. But if you do get hit by the Q, right, that gives him access to dual swords. That gives him the extra dash. You E away. If he already has dual swords 1 prepped because of the Q stun, then he's going to be able to chase after you with D2. So a little bit of a matchup thing there. Yuki, despite being like a basic attack character on dual swords, he's kind of a burst character. He wants to use all his combo all at once. Shield is best, I heard from the character Discord. Perfect. So good play being here. You definitely played this well. I would just try to identify what the most threatening part of the matchup is. For Yuki, it's the amount of burst he's going to pull out all at once. Dual swords Yuki specifically. And then use your E to get away from that. But overall, good fight, for sure. And I imagine you'll probably get either Tree for Glacial Shoes, Meteorite for Cabana, or... Oh, Sykes Blade. I completely forgot about the Mythic. Yeah, Sykes Blade definitely the pickup for Vanya. Super good synergy. You can use it inside bubble too. Combo it with your burst on ultimate. Will help with the slows, give you some healing back, helps with farming. Very efficient item. Completely forgot about Sykes Blade. So here we have 50 seconds to Wick. Wick's going to be spawning in Forest. Vanya doesn't have a great Wick take, but she doesn't have a horrible Wick take either. I think you can definitely hang around the area if you want, especially with how free it's looking currently. Meteorite there, so gonna get Cabana. 3 transitions, you're definitely pretty strong. Got some cameras too, which is nice. I think while you're here, you can grab these. I would grab console and then grab wolves and then stick around. If someone shows up for Wick, it might be a little problematic, but I mean, like, you're 14 mastery. Yuki's in Dock with 15. He's not gonna be able to get to Wick without a hyperloop. Ekion, same thing. 14 in Avenue is gonna have to hyperloop. Chiara might TP there, and that might cause some problems, but I think for the most part, yeah. Okay, Chiara is going to keep you in, so that's going to stop you from, like, taking it, but you should notice that when she TP'd in, there's a ping. I forget you even have blade some of the times, yeah. Chiara going to full send it, so I would ult right here. Save your E. Because she's going to try and burst it with ult. A little bit too much space, but you should be able to kill her here. That's when you would Sykes Blade for the slow. Oh, keep chasing her. I think you have the opportunity here to get Wick buff off of Chiara. Like, I think if you Sykes Blade, she can't run away from you. I know it's a hard thing to remember because it's an active, but I do think that's a missed opportunity for a kill there. Especially because she burned so much of her ult, right? And like the way Chiara ult works, we'll just hover over it really quick, is that she needs Sigma stacks to be able to crash down upon you. She doesn't have anything on you, so she can't do it to you. She needs maximum stacks, right? So you don't have to worry about her like kind of like one-shotting you off of that. She only has the chance to do it on the Wick. If you hold your sleep until like she comes down off a Wick, or if you hold your sleep until she's in a position where she can't run away, you Sykes Blade on top of her. I think that's a kill opportunity right there. I imagine that's going to be a rougher matchup now that she's able to heal. Some mithril in this chest. It'll go to Racing Helm. 5 transitions, so you're super strong here. I would like to see you clear out most of the hunts in this. Make sure you get to this gold box on time too. Do you have vision here? You don't have vision here yet, so I would probably like loot starting with the vision cam. Careful about using E to farm in the late game as well. If you like, you came from here, run, get the cam, and then take the hunts back up to this way, and then come to this gold box. It's just a little bit quicker than having to like run this way, take the hunts, take the cam, and then take the hunts back up. As long as you're looting in the circle, or like hunting in a circle, you're more or less saving time, but just a heads up there.
One bad move
and you have radar scan now, so you can see that you are alone for these 2 zones. Especially because you could grab this gold box and then TP in the dock, knowing that it's a free TP, and you probably would have ended up closer. Be able to get both, maybe. Yeah, I didn't know the Cheys matchup that well, so I got scared. Cheys usually on other melee running after them gets me killed. Yeah, that's something I know a lot of people feel with Cheys, is that they don't really get when she can just ult on top of you and when she can't. She needs max stacks. So if she opens a fight pretty much on ulting anything other than you, she's not going to get the crash down onto you. Hermes on the box there, probably just disenchant that. I imagine. Well, Hermes might be okay actually. I don't think you really need the tenacity. You could probably just disencraft this. I think maidens are probably better. Cheys also has a minimum range. I'm not sure. Doesn't look like it. Says that she becomes invincible upon crashing. Blood call in here. I'm assuming this is for prominence. Ekion got the gold box over there. Everyone kind of accumulating in this final zone too. And had you have gotten the cams beforehand here, you would have at least seen that there is 1 or 2 other people in this zone. So a little bit of like cause and effect there. Gonna go Queen of Hearts. I would definitely go Prominence, right? Like the point of building Queen of Hearts typically is for the cooldown reduction cap. Prominence gives the same thing. So it's better off just to have 6 transitions rather than removing your Cabana for Queen of Hearts here. Yes, Queen of Hearts probably is best in slot, better than Cabana, but you kind of want the sum of best items, and because you have Dropnir here, like Prominence would just be a better upgrade than Dropnir, more so than Queen of Hearts is to Cabana. So just keep that in mind. They both have the CDR cap too. Or maybe you're still looking for a bracelet. I guess you didn't fully build it yet. Random blade boots on the ground. You can disenchant that. I don't think this Ekion can deal with you with these items. I think you can probably just take that fight if you want. You just gotta be careful about if he has E up when you ult. Especially if you know he's trying to TP away too. But I support running into the zone rather than TPing into it. I think that's the better play here, but if he's trying to get away, you probably could TP if you wanted to. Oh, you did go Prominence. Perfect. So good decision making there. Probably realized that you had Cabana and still had Dropnir. So great adjustment. It shows that you're thinking while playing, which is super important. And you're not just going through the motions. I know when I start to tilt, sometimes I just overlap transitions because I'm not thinking. But I'm glad your brain is active while playing. It's very important.
Hold on tight to your alcohol and your wallet.
So you would have just had cams. You can see Chiara just killed Ekion. Should know at this point in the game, Chiara can't get a kill probably without ulting. So you have about 10 seconds, because for some reason this is only a 25-second cooldown. It's 22 seconds. If you had run straight to her, you might be able to take her in a fight, get some damage down on her, force her to at least burn some red, and then disengage when her ult came back up. But also, had you have killed her earlier, you wouldn't have to deal with this, and you'd have a much easier fight with the Ekion. There's a 7-kill Chiara now that you have to deal with. Yeah, I'll probably about the blood. My chromosome activated. I mean, good save. You ended up with the same result, so. Like that you're grouping up hunts here. A little bit of a mastery disadvantage, I imagine. Oh no, 18 mastery. So, even mastery. Safe zone's not gonna spawn because there's 2 people left. This final zone sucks for you, I think. Also, getting hit by that E there is a little rough. But you did E out. Forced her to ult. So far, this is really good for you. I would start turning now as her ult's running out. See if she crashes down upon you, she'll be in melee range of you. Hey Tenma, how's it going? Like I said, this is 25 seconds. It's already down to 12. This is kind of your only opportunity. I would even start fighting her with okay. The E, right, we gotta think about what Chiara wants to do, right? Like the issue with Chiara is when she rapier skills onto you with ult and the E stun, right? So if we use your E to stop the Chiara E, and you had a good ult here. I didn't hate the ult. I think it was fine. I also think your E was fine because you got out of the route, but just make sure that you're turning either to get the Q proc on the sleep or the W proc on the sleep, making the most of your damage. You just have to like be conscious that this is such a low cooldown, I think, because I imagine you probably are expecting Chara's ult to not be up again, but she has like 11% cooldown, right? Like this is like nothing, and this is already up. Like it's such a short cooldown. It's not long at all. I don't know if you would have been able to kill her before she gets ult back up here. Also, kite out with your W, keep some space. But I think the takeaway from this final fight is urgency, right? Like just be aware of how short Chiara cooldown is. Be aware of like what skills you're overlapping on hers, because I think you did everything well enough to win the fight. You just have to be a little quicker about things, and maybe a little bit spacing in that final situation. But I do have to bring up, like, had you have killed her at Wick, this fight never happens, right? And you have an Ekion fight for the final fight. And you're a ranged character against a melee character, and Avenue Final Zone is notorious for being like one of the worst final zones for melee into range. No, it wasn't a bad game at all by any means. Feeling's correct. It was very winnable still. It's just there's a few things that could have like secured your victory earlier in the game. But overall, super strong play. Your Vanya is very clean, and your knowledge of like moving around the map is very good. And I think that's like one thing that's like super hard to teach. You kind of just have to get a feel for that as a player. So that's very good. Only 1 level left so I can play the ranked. Good luck, Tenma. I hope you enjoy the rank climb as much as I do. It's one of my favorite parts of Eternal Return. Just make sure I answer everything about your question. Use E too soon in the fight. This game had pretty close final zone. Want to know how to play it better? Yeah, it's mainly stuff you could have done before the final zone, but in terms of then, just make sure you're keeping space. Make sure you're keeping aware of Chiara's ult. there's 2 opportunities where you could have gotten her with at least lower without ult. So overall, super well played though. Next up, we have Steve. They're unranked, mid to late game. I really struggle going against the last guys when they're actually good. Sometimes I find bots, and that's why I get wins. But I want to improve to play decently against real players as well. Sure. I imagine this is going to be a lot about getting yourself prepared for final fights. You might be coming into final fights with like a mastery disadvantage. Also, do you think Maya is good in meta right now? She keeps getting nerfs and I'm quite demotivated to play her. I still think she's pretty good. I think Maya's been like top 5 characters for a while, but that might just be like my personal opinion. Oh, we got Rozzi gameplay. Cool. I can definitely help with this. This probably is 3 zone. I will pause this really quick. The thing about Mai is that like she has very oppressive matchups into auto attackers due to the W, and she kind of just falls over against like mages and like ranged amp users. I would focus more on like starting fights with your pins up so that you can get the taunt, and then pretty much taking fights with ranged auto attackers like Rozzi or Rio, and like finding characters of that nature rather than trying to fight spellcasters. Just honestly like camera hop away from them or just W out away from them. Pick your matchups. It comes to a point where if you're playing Amp Mai specifically, you can kind of just stat check anyone. But if you're playing the basic attack build, you'll have a little bit more, or like the hybrid build, you'll have a little bit more trouble in the early games. Yeah, as Jynx said, it's like she's kind of just very oppressive. I would watch some Korean Mais, see how they like approach matchups. But keeping your pins stacked up is probably a good place to start. Okay, so anyway, Rozzi here. If you're doing the 3 zone crit build, this is going to go cemetery into hospital into dock. One thing I do want to make a note of is that the way that if you start in cemetery, the way that your spawns are going to go is that these spawns down here. Why is this so thick? Why is my pen so thick? I don't want it that thick. These spawns down here will be your best spawns. And then this spawn in the middle is good. This one here and then this one over here are kind of your worst spawns because you have to run to the teleporter or you have a long run into hospital. I know you have a Johan off the start here in the zone ahead of you, and you have a Rio that took the middle spawn. I would honestly, instead of like looting here, run all the way to this spawn off the start. Like you want one of these closer spawns to hospital. It'll speed up so much time. Especially because Rozzi doesn't have a wall dash, right? Like it's gonna be so much time to get all the way to this hyperloop. Also, don't worry about rocks until you get to dock. You need rocks for bottles, and you're not going to get bottles until dock anyways. They'll just take up inventory space. Yeah, I often die to Haze or Amp Aya pistol. Good to know I should avoid. Yeah, honestly, Aya's a little bit easier to deal with than Haze, but just run away from them. They're not going to be good matchups for you. Especially if they get poked down before you. Double alcohol here is good. This is what I mean with your kind of juggling your inventory. You can also drop this ore because you've already made steel, so you don't need this. But rocks are just going to slow you down a little bit here. This is a character Levi might possibly know. I know a little bit about Rozzi, just a little bit. Especially this build. Leather is good. You're going to want to stop to get leather here. Lucky they're still here. But had you have like run to a closer spawn or not gotten rocks and had to juggle your inventory, you're likely probably the one to kill the chickens here, so you can guarantee your leather. If you're very fast, you can be done this build by 1 minute left into day 1. Who's harder, Rozzi or Hayes? Definitely Hayes. Hayes is much harder than Rozzi. Rozzi's not too difficult. She just gets punished by a few things. So far so good. Just know that like because you're only guaranteed 1 short rod per distribution, use your short rod for your weapon before you make quiver. Just in case you run into like someone while you're looting, you have your weapon done. It's going to defend you a little bit better than quiver here. Also good that you got your Baiju, just need a lighter. Yeah, so we ended up being a little bit slower than this Rio. I think that's one of the matchups I said to look out for. You will find Rios in dock on occasion. This isn't typically a winnable fight. The Rio fight, it's a little bit tough. Also, you can save one of your waters. You only have to drink one of them, and then you can turn the other one into Americano. This is good spell rotation here. I like that you're getting your 2 auto attacks in between each ability. And I'm glad you didn't force that fight with Rio after using your ult. Rozzi needs her ult for a lot of matchups. Hayes has a whole other system you have to learn with different weapons that change your skills before, during, and after you use them, and several buffs to the game. Buffs that the game doesn't really say. Yeah, I think Hayes is just a much harder character. Comparatively to Rozzi. Bears are gone. If you're here a little bit quicker, those are yours. I do like that you're leading up through chapel. These hunts are usually here. Make sure to be taking them. Good job. I usually go take this bat. I'll either start with this boar, and then take the bat and the chickens here, work my way up to the boar here, and I'll either go down to factory and take some hunts, or I will look for some hunts in chapel. Just a little bit way to get more mastery. If you get the bears, you will typically be 7 mastery by this point. Free meteorite's also nice. This probably won't be up by this point as you get into higher games. Rozzi's a covered mercenary. Also Rozzi. Where's Golden Lace? Sometimes you just gotta feel fabulous as you're killing everybody. Yeah, I really want to cosplay Rozzi at some point. So Fallen Pegasus is a good choice. You can also go Spectre if there's a lot of spellcasters in your lobby. Either one are fine. There's a little bit less head options than chest options, so Pegasus is a good choice as well. Just kind of depends how you're feeling in the lobby.
Check if there's any alcohol.
We are good on food and drink. This should be good enough for the early game. I would avoid the attack battle zone. You're very squishy. Rozzi only having 1400 health at most of the time. You will blow up. I like that you saved your ult for the heart matchup. You do want to try and wait for heart to ult and then ult so they don't get timed out. Really good wait there. I would hold your E just in case heart charms. You want to try and reactively dodge the charm, but if you E before she charms, she can kind of just throw the charm up behind you for a guaranteed hit. But overall, that was very good. I hate Jackie, says Corruption. Corruption, you play a lot of Jackie. Every time I see you on Jackie, I try to run at you because it's just such a favorable fight. you wanna do better in the Rozzi, go back to Dylan. Dylan's got a decent matchup in the Rozzi. Be careful with these wolves. Definitely don't want to go down to them, but you're pretty safe in the battle zone. Rozzi, you typically want to take the movement speed zone. It'll help you gap close onto ranged characters, and you can also kite out melee characters, but good win nonetheless. If you are in a forest battle zone, I would like to see you stick around until nighttime so that you can get this tree. And that way you can go Meteorite or Mithril from this battle zone win instead of tree, so you're not doubling up on trees. You could go Spectre plus Alexander, but this way what you can also do is go Alexander plus the tree from here, and then call in a Meteorite with your credits here because you have enough, and you can build Kelt. Either option is good. Felix matchup's a little rough for Rozzi. You want to try and stay as close as possible to him, which is kind of like sacrilege for ranged into melee. If you try to fight and kite him out, you're just giving him passive auto attacks. But pretty good. Kind of just stat checked him here. He had no transitions. So far, so good. I think one of the biggest barriers to entry for Rozzi is the fact that people don't use her passive in between spells, and you've been doing a really good job of that so far. So I do like seeing that. Especially with a Meteorite here. Had you have stayed for this tree and then walked down to get Meteorite here, that's a 4-score. And then plus call in with your credits, like we're looking at a 4-score plus tree. Alexander plus Kelt is very strong at this point. You're more or less going to do it anyway. This is just going to burn a little bit more timer this way. Had you have done it in the reverse order, it would have been a little bit less timer. Speaking of Jackie, it feels like whenever I fight Jackie with Ava or Hayes, if I'm not built up the substantial amount higher than her, I always die, even if I do everything right. If you're doing everything right, Jackie probably still kills Hayes. I don't think she kills Ava. Just be conscious of like how you're wall hopping and using your E with Ava. Once Jackie commits her jump, that's when you want to use yours, not the other way around. Hayes, I imagine if you just wall jump, like Hayes doesn't have a wall jump, so if Jackie just hops on you, it's kind of hard to deal with.
Check if there's any alcohol.
Bears are good here. Sorry about that, I was just talking to someone. Like that you're keeping up mastery. We're, I think, well ahead of everyone. Aiden's got 13. He's a little bit ahead, but you're ahead of Elena. Johan, we're not going to talk about. And you're ahead of Hart, which is really good. Just remember your hunt rotations, though. Had you have gotten the first bears in dock, you would be able to get bears again here. And the Aiden who got the bears in dock is over here in hotel, so it doesn't hurt to just go down and check them to make sure they're here. Hayes is free for Jackie, Ava not so much. Yeah, I imagine Hayes struggles to peel Jackie off of her. I've gotten away from Jackie's with Hayes, just W after the hop and EOA while applying pressure with Q and alt. Yeah, that assumes that Jackie just jumps at the Hayes. It's a little bit more problematic if Jackie catches Hayes on a corner, which is more Jackie's playstyle. Jackie kind of just lose to everyone, though, if she just raw jumps in on whoever. What do you mean, Jynx? I always lose against Aiden. This was the first game I saw that character, and yeah, Aiden's a little bit tough for Rozzi. You have to make sure you're dodging E on Aiden. You don't want to keep giving him like gap closes onto you. once he gets his ranged form too, you want to make sure you dodge the Q attacks with the ranged bolt. Can't really dodge the auto attacks, but make sure you dodge the Q. They will slow you. I like that you grouped up the hunts here. You're sitting pretty good with your items too. I would like you to see go. I would like to see you go Celt over Dice. Dice got nerfed a few patches ago, and it's not as strong as it used to be. Celt's much better upgrade than Dice is from Buccaneer.
Check if there's any alcohol.
You also should
No one to training.
be able to get the prep for that fairly early into the game. If like when you went Chapel, had you have gone Factory instead of going School, you would have had the Celt prep. Be careful with Eing onto bears. It's fine when there's like 3 people left in the game and you know no one's around. But if it's more people left in the game, this is a 16-second cooldown. And it's kind of your main escape for like if you get caught farming by a character. So just be a little careful with that. We're here for Meteorite. I'd say when you're this strong, you probably just want to go straight to Wick. Aiden's going to end up getting this Wick for free. You probably would be able to contest him on it. Or at least stop him from getting it or taking a lot of damage from Wick. But overall, I mean, it's a tough matchup, so. You're also a little bit behind in Mastery compared to the Aiden. I definitely focus more on making sure you get your bears. Missing out on these 3 bears the second time is going to hurt your Mastery a lot. That's like almost 2 levels that you could get. But also not having Celt is also going to hurt your damage. Celt now gives the attack range similar to Glock, so it's pretty much a direct upgrade. It doesn't have armor pendant anymore, but the attack range will help you kite out Aiden. So don't worry about losing that with Glock. Same thing, we're here again with bears. There are bears up in Beach. Make sure you're taking those. Once again, with your pathing, if you like path from Uptown up around this way and then take the bears, you'll be at a much higher Mastery than if you just ran up this way. Pretty much, like, don't take this to a T, but you want to be clearing out most, if not all, of the hunts from every zone that you enter. We left a lot of Mastery up here in Beach that we could have grabbed. I do like that you're grabbing the wolves though, here in Hotel. Especially if you had grabbed these bears too, you might have had enough credits for 4 score, which you could get Celt. No problem. And I'm sorry if I'm like going a little bit harder on this. It's just because I play Rozzi and I can speak a little bit more on Rozzi games than I can on any other character. But I think like if you had played this exact same game, did exactly the same things of what you did, but either had gone to Wick or had farmed some of these bears, I think you're in the same position with like 18 or 19 Mastery. And I think this is the bug again, but I think it would have just been day 4 just now. So I think on radar, you would have been able to see these 2 fighting. I mean, there's a third-party opportunity here. They're running your direction. It's kind of hard to tell though, because I don't have the timer. Sorry, I meant that I misunderstood. The changes that stats are per character and weapon, not for the weapon types as a whole. Oh, yeah, they are per character, but I still don't think that's great. What do you think about the Selene rework? I think it makes her easier to play, but I think it makes her easier to exploit for higher elo. Like, I think people will have a much easier time killing her. But I think the goal, okay. Aiden kind of like walked up to you there. You can just hard commit onto him there if you're going to fight him. Once again, be sure you're checking Wick to make sure how much time is left. You can time this out. It's like less than a quarter, so that's like a minute at most. Which all these zones still have to close, so you can time out this Wick. But if you are going to vision trap him there, I would alt engage like onto him as he walked up, especially because he didn't get the ward check in the bush. He raw ulted, so he does have his range forms. Make sure that you dodge the Qs and not the auto attacks. At this point here, I would just run away. Like if you do a quick health assessment, we're about to be half health and he kind of hasn't taken any damage. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. 15 mastery here versus 19 mastery is pretty much unwinnable, even if you do play everything right. That's getting changed, hopefully, in Eternal Return 1.0. They're going to try and eliminate some of these situations where you're just 4 behind or 5 behind in mastery and just can't win the fight because of it. But just know, like, oh, he hit the E on you anyway, so it's a little unfortunate. He hit both E's on you. That's going to make it so he can't get away from you, but... Oh, it's Raku. Really good Aiden. I mean, if he's a good Aiden, that also doesn't help. That's just a matchmaking issue. But a few things there. Time out the Wick. Hard engage if you get the trap, the vision trap, and look for abilities that you need to dodge. Rozzi at one point used to be a character that could just get hit by everything and you could just out duel your opponent. We're kind of gone from there. You do need to dodge some abilities. But overall, a lot of really good showings. Keep up the mastery farming. Don't just walk through empty zones. Move with purpose. Everything or everywhere that you move should be for a reason. Don't just move just to move. If anything, stand still just to stand still. It's a lot safer than aimlessly walking around the map. But I'm excited to see you on the ranked ladder. I think you will be a good Rozzi player. Next up, we have Mirage. Under silver, positioning during fights, feel like I make fights harder than they need to be or just lose them. Positioning is going to come down to what type of character you play. We'll see what character you're on. Thanks for all the help. Hope to be, oh my god, I can't talk. Hope I'll be able to improve. Yeah, for sure. I think you have a lot of good habits. Just gotta work on getting that mastery up. So Celine is getting easier to work. Celine is, I think, being made easier.
Stop bothering me. Just do
We're on Karla. Karla's definitely a character you're gonna have to have good positioning with. I think not being able to move her bombs once they're on the ground is going to make it easier for like people who aren't experienced with Celine to be able to play her, but it just makes it so that like anyone who fights against her just has to like move the fight like either a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right, and she's not going to be able to deal with it. Yeah, repetition will help you learn some of the concepts quicker. All Eternal Return is when getting better is just like how much can you remember at once and then what becomes muscle memory after. So start with like learning hunt rotations, and then once that becomes like common muscle memory, move on to the next thing with like dodging spells and fights. Stuff like that. Celine needs to lose the ability to effectively move her kill button around. We'll see. I think it's going to hurt her too much personally, but maybe that also is because we have like 2 Celine players in NA. Oh, good cancel on the E. Okay. Okay, very good. I was wondering if you were gonna do that. I was gonna say, because you know she's not level 6, you can just E into her and get the speed gate before her. I think I know Irio. Irio is a Rozzi main, I think. Interesting that they're on Sua. Maybe they'll go back to Rozzi. I think, yeah, that was really good awareness that you noticed that once you canceled the Sua E, you could just basically get onto her because she wasn't level 6 yet. Doesn't have the bookmark. Sua could have just left, yeah, if she leveled up R and then E'd away. Or R'd away. Typical Hyunwoo incident. I'm glad you pulled off when you did. I would pull off a little bit earlier next time. But I'm glad you didn't just try to sit on the teleporter and go all the way through. Because I think he can just charge up ult. He doesn't even have to EU because you're CC immune on the teleporter. But good play there. Yeah, the setting up in a bush is a little toxic from Celine, but so far I'd say your positioning is really good. I think those are two plays that aren't really, what do you call it? Like, those are hard to recognize plays. Like, I think those are very good that you did those. I think, yeah, I was gonna say, as soon as you hear the Adela ult, you peel off and go check out what's happening, because that's a very oppressive ability. I would stay on it, though. Really good play there. A little risky, because you don't know that the eye is eased down. Or maybe she used it. I might have blinked. Hold on. See if replays are working. They are, thank God. I think if you hear the Adela ult here, you just like walk over, and I think that's probably a double kill had you just walked over and ulted. But do you actually see the IE? Oh, you do. Okay, cool. So that's fine. Yeah, as long as you see her E, that works. Just wanted to make sure. This might be a little hard to chase down. Yeah. You forced her out and you can grab Meteorite. That's really all you need to do there. Had you have walked over when she was fighting the Adela, maybe that's a double kill. Maybe it's not. But goal accomplished. Got the Meteorite.
Check if there's any alcohol. Check if there's any alcohol.
And do we go... Does Karla go Battlezone or does she go Alpha? I think Karla goes Alpha, right? If the plan is Alpha, do you have some hunts here that you can take? Just making sure you're getting out before Battlezone. If you're going to stay here for Battlezone, then also clear out the hunts, but I think Karla goes Alpha. You might get trapped here because of the Luke. Lost track of timer. That's okay. I mean, I think pressuring the Luke here, I think at this point, when you know that you're going to have to get locked in battle zone, I think you got to pressure the Luke while he's in this corner. Especially because he can just blink behind you with his E. One thing to remember about playing Luke, this might be something that you know already. Really good pushback on the Hyun we were there. But you might notice about Luke, he always blinks behind you. Whether like he is on the... Or like he always blinks to your backside, not necessarily behind you. Really good E-bait there. I like that a lot. Like if he's behind you, he will stay behind you. If he's in front of you, he'll blink to the other side of you. So I think once you like factor that in, it helps you account for his E. Or just wait for him to use it first. Either one. But the eBay on the Hyunwoo is really good. Just be careful though, because if he does do it a little bit earlier, I think he clips you in the wall and you end up on this side of the wall. But very stylish play. I liked it a lot. I always like going for those type of plays, especially with Karla. Karla's a character that can do that.
Check if there's any alcohol.
How did you manage to separate your bread? Oh, you probably picked up from one of the characters. For quality of life, just combine your bread so you have an extra inventory space. Yeah, you did. Thank you. It was bothering me. Selena's a minigame character. I kind of think she's a minigame character. That's kind of just my word to describe characters that have like some kind of extra component that you have to pay attention to while you're playing the character. Selena's a little bit of a minigame character. You nearly messed it up. You don't have to tell people that part. Just tell people you did it intentionally. I do like that you're sticking around for this tree. As the timer's coming down, you can always check for these bears. They should be coming up, so this is really good as well. I was gonna say, I'd take this tree first. Careful about how long you're eating or where you're eating. You're about to contest the objective with a 20-second cooldown. It's a little questionable. Oh, this is closing, so you're gonna have to TP out or walk temple, but probably TP out. This is where I would E now if you had it, but you're gonna have to burn a little bit of extra time now. Or even holding it, because you're gonna have to TP into a zone. Either's fine. Prefer chores character. Yeah, that's also a good word for it. This tree is free. Can honestly double up on trees. Well, that probably won't happen very often though, but I mean, with 6 people left on day 2 night, it's a good chance it probably is free. Is Myth Brutes the primary Mithril upgrade, or is it Racing Home? It's Myth both, so like, that's just like probably a question that you could find out in the character Discord, but I feel like Racing Home's also a really good upgrade. You prefer Myth? Top Karla goes it? Cool. So we didn't go to, we did go to a battle zone the first time, so maybe look for Omega. Omega's currently free. You're gonna have Luke running over to a teleporter. Not that you'd know that, but when this daytime scan hits, I'd pay attention to who's where. Yeah, good, you're going to Omega. I like that. And you're gonna see that it's free. I think another thing that you can note here is that when you have a daytime scan, and it's like this late in the game, pay attention to who's in what zone that's like not a battle zone, because right now, like, this Vanya can't TP. Like, Beach is a zone with no hyperloop, and this is for every character, it's not just for you. But Beach is a no hyperloop zone. Uptown's not going to be a hyperloop zone because there's a battle zone in it. Jackie and Luke are the only ones that have close access to a hyperloop. It just kind of gives you an idea of who's going to be able to contest you and who can't. Just a tip for every character, not exclusively you. This is going to be a free Omega, it looks like. And you're also going to get a full zone of hunts, which is, well, not a full zone, but that's also nice. Yeah, I need to make it more of a habit. Yeah, you should always open up your map whenever there's a radar scan. Just see what's going on. Because it's likely if, like, Vanya's in Beach, and let's say, like, Jackie was in Dock, like, you know it's a free Omega, because no one can get to a teleporter. I'm not sure how good Karla is at grouping up camps because of her auto attack passive, but you can group up this bear, these two wolves, and this boar all at once, just to make it easier. Or you can group up this boar and these two wolves to try and farm. You're a guard like Karla, I'm always scared to fight you. Yeah, what rank did you say you're in? You said below silver. You're playing, I would imagine you're not going to find it hard to climb the ranks. Karla's a hard character, right? Like, it's very hard. There's so many situations where you can end up just straight dying for, but she's also a very oppressive character. Keep with it. You're definitely better than a silver player. Could never get the jump right with Karla always going in the wrong direction. Do you smart cast? I find if you take it off smart cast, it's a little bit easier. Raw ult on the Silvia. A little bit of hesitation there. I would be careful about eating right away. If that Silvia tires you backwards, it's a little problematic, but she kind of just has to take the L at this point when you're this strong. From my knowledge, like the E is more of a finisher than the opener, unless you're like really quick about getting the crossbow skill down on somebody. I mean, you also had like a pretty big mastery difference on her, but I would be careful against most Silvias doing that.
I miss the old days.
I have quick cast on, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah, it's a little bit harder with quick cast because you kind of have to angle it while you're moving. If you take it off quick cast, it might be a little bit easier for you. Yeah, I get very trigger happy with E is what messes me up a lot. It's a tough ability. It's very punishable being on a 14-second cooldown at max rank. Ion Wick here. This is a time where you can definitely just Eon to somebody. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing she can do there. Aya should also probably never get that low doing Wick, especially pistol Aya. Just a way of, or that's AR. AR, it's gonna take some hits, but pistol Aya can just kite it out with W. It's free kill for you, but realistically, as you get into higher ranks, and you will get into higher ranks, Ayas are not gonna just take Wick like that. It's a bronze game, to be fair. Yeah. If you don't mind sharing, what rank are you currently? I imagine you've climbed quite some time since this. Jackie escaped, yeah. A little bit of a 1v1 here while you're farming. It looks like you're gonna have a final fight with Luke. Big snipe coming in there for Luke. So yeah, it's similar as the matchup from Hospital earlier, right? Like you're gonna have to look out for Luke E. You're gonna want to use your E kind of when he has his W on to mitigate most of his damage. Q, I would imagine you just gonna have to straight dodge. Gonna have to do a little bit of the work yourself instead of relying on the ability. So clearly just got promo the silver and not played much since. Oh, I think you'll get to plat very quickly, personally. This is where it goes wrong. I imagine it's gonna be a Luke E behind your crossbow skill. If I had to guess. Considering where this Luke is right now, he's only 3 transition and 17 mastery, right? Like, this is your game to win. I would also just make sure you're doing your checks, that you have food, SP. I imagine you probably have spirit culling, so you don't need SP. But you have food, cameras, EMPs, any traps. You need to reach gold in rank for the skin, right? Yep. Is it gold in any mode or gold in solo specific? I think it's gold in any mode, right? Gold in any mode, nice. So Luke TP's in, you have the ping on him. Get hit by the Q, but you have the shield, so I would just reset until your shield's back up. There's no reason to fight him. Until then, you can just keep farming mastery. These safe zones won't trigger because there's only 2 people left. So you will just have a final zone in the middle here. Once again, just not a individual character tip. You would have seen the ping on this bat here, so you know you can take this boar. Good job. I say boar, the bear. And you're gonna have 10 seconds left on your holy orders. You got hit by the Q. Good cancel with your auto attack though. And your shield's gonna be coming up soon. Okay, so far so good. There's the blink behind you. We held E a little bit too long there, but most of that was good. I don't, like, other than just waiting too long on the E, like, you played most of that fine. Ate the Q with your shield, canceled the Q when you didn't have shield, like, it's just, what, reaction time I get? Like, that was the only thing there. I'm sure you were nervous too. It's a final zone, like, it's a pressurized situation. I will say, you probably picked the hardest part of Temple to hit that crossbow skill, which fair enough, you hit it, right? But like, that's that tiny corner over here is probably not the most advantageous fight for you. Definitely want like a more squared off area for the final zone. And then you can play bush control as well. But overall, super good stuff. Yeah, just pulling the trigger on E a little bit quicker. Again, that comes from just like knowing what your opponent's going to do in a fight. You know, Luke's going to try and Q onto you, blink behind you to dodge your stuff. I do think you'll be much higher elo than where you're currently at, though, if you continue to play like how you just did. Isn't there an emote for plat? Yeah. There's usually an emote for plat, and there's an emote for hitting gold in 2 different modes. I'm glad you found it helpful, though. I appreciate that. Really quickly, I'm going to take a quick break and use the bathroom, but after that, we will jump into our last replay. So just 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. Took a little longer than I thought it would. So, we have one more replay, I believe. If it will load my responses. Cool. We have Moink. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Unranked. Hey Levi, how are you? I appreciate the coaching videos you make for new players and those who wish to learn something new. Aw, I appreciate the kind words. We're talking about cadet skins. I like a lot of the cadet skins. I really like the Hedgen one. Moink is a Silvia player.
Stop bothering me. Just
And we're starting off in Temple. Interesting. I don't know which Silvia build this is. Probably have to wait to hold off on that leather. I imagine you don't need that right away. Just because it takes a little while to kill. Also, I like that you ran over to this distribution zone. Just remember to loot in a pathway that makes sense. Like this is like typically how you would loot. It's a little bit quicker, especially if you're gonna stop to farm the chickens. I would imagine that you can probably hold off on waiting for leather, but just make sure that you're looting in a path that makes sense rather than going like here. I think is what we did. So really quick tip off the start. It'll just speed up your routing a little bit. Those extra seconds will all add up. Are we ending stream after this one? Probably so, yeah. Is this heavy knee pads Nathathon? Interesting. Yeah, I ended up talking about the dev journal at the start of stream this time instead of at the end, but usually we either talk about the dev journal. The form for the next one should go up on Thursday, assuming I'm not a piece of shit and I forget, but we will see. Yeah, I haven't seen the Silvia build. I would definitely recommend checking out the Character Hub Discord. The one I know goes Avenue, Hospital, Chapel, or sorry, Pond, Hospital, Chapel, Avenue. This might just be an alternate routing if it's contested. If you're not going to pick up any items in the hotel, once again, just run up this way and then path this way to the Hyperloop. It's a little bit quicker. Same thing here with Chapel. It's a little bit quicker to go this way. Just so that you're saving more seconds. Eventually, like, if you add up all the seconds, you're probably saving around 10 seconds in each on your routing. Also, you can group up these chickens, hit 2 at once. And this is probably, I imagine, where you grab your leather instead of in Temple. It'll also speed up. I like that you hit both of them there, but you can group up these 2 and then group up these 2 here. Or just group up all 4. Either one works. I'm not sure how Silvia's passive's going to work on this routing, so bear with me. I'm not going to be able to give tips about that. They need to give Nicky a pistol. No. I don't think Nicky needs a pistol. I think this build is outdated. Isn't she just running Amp Drone now? I think there's some talk between Amp Drone and Vamp. Amp Drone I would almost like recommend for like higher elo. Amp Drone's going to be a little bit harder for lower elo Silvia players to run. I think they'll probably get more benefit out of Vampiric. But I think the strongest form of Silvia, yes, you're correct, is Amp Drone. Fish-shaped bullets, I kind of like that. This build also just might be outdated. So make sure you're joining the Character Hub Discord. I'll put a link to it in chat in case you see this. It will be the most optimal place to get builds. I can find a invite. For anyone else who's not in it, feel free to join. You can find your character and it will have a representative. I'm sure you guys all know about the Character Hub Discord though, but in case you don't, there it is. Good rotation here in alley. I like that we're moving upwards and we're going all the way around. That'll put us back into avenue for either battle zone or if you want to call in Devil's Marksman. Should have enough credits by then.
One less inconvenience for you. Look for the fallen ones.
She's sick of your late returns. I don't know how it is in Scotland, Jynx, but in North America, a lot of our libraries got rid of like late fees a few years ago for libraries. Message deleted by stream elements. I don't know what you posted, Feline, but I also don't know how sensitive my bot is.
One less inconvenience for you.
I apologize. Posted 2 emojis. I'm so sorry. This is good so far. I like that you got the bears, I like that you got the wolves. We're keeping up in mastery. We're gonna have enough to get Devil's Marksman, which I think you want to try and get online as soon as possible. I do think you should worry about finishing your build though before you get into your hunt rotation. I didn't see what item you missed. I imagine it was probably water for crafting touch, but make sure you get that online beforehand. Another thing that you want to do with Silvia is like a lot of the time you're dismounting after the hunt. Because you're getting fuel from getting these hunts, you can spend some time on your bike just getting in between hunts. It's not going to end up being too costly because you're just going to farm all the fuel back up anyways. Like right now, like this is basically overcapped on hunts or on fuel. So that'll also help you speed around the map too to get these hunts. If you watch the Play Like a Pro episode on Frankie Doodle that we did, we'll talk a lot about Silvia hunt rotations in that one. And I think that'll be very, very beneficial to watch for you. You'll see how he uses his bike to basically clear a large amount of zones all in a small amount of time. Also make sure you use your tire to cancel the pork chop knockback if you're going to do it like that. But Frankie in essence gets through 8 or 9 different zones per day in like day 1 and day 2, and he does a lot of that by being really efficient on his bike. But I do like the emphasis that you're putting on mastery here. Feeling you didn't get banned, right? Like it just deleted your message. Bears would have just respawned here normally, so this is decent timing as well. Do have a little bit of a food crisis only having orchids, but it's fixable with some bottles. Especially if you're going to call in Devil's Marksman, you could head into chapel, get some food prep, and get your transition all at once. 8 zones a day. It's probably a little exaggerated, but the episode we did with Frankie, he goes Pond, Hospital, Chapel, Avenue, Temple for the night 1. And then goes from Temple, Archery, School, Hotel, Forest, Beach, Uptown before night 2. And he gets all the hunts in those typically right before day 2 battle zones spawn. And he ends up being about YouTube bot put me in the timeout corner. Tell Levi I said it's okay. I'm still watching. Did it really ban you? Jesus Christ. I apologize for that. I will deal with stream elements. But yeah, he gets through a ton of zones in a small amount of time. Can I like do commands? Can I like slash unban? Is that a thing? I don't have commands. Unfortunate. Feline, I will figure this out. I apologize. Unless Jynx, you can figure out how to do it. Howdy, I'm back. Okay, I'm gonna assume Jynx figured out how to do it, so thank you for that. I'm so sorry it banned you. I will look into the strictness on stream elements. So once again, we're picking up hunts. This is very good. Sure, I definitely fix it. I don't know, maybe my command went through. I don't know. Maybe it was just a timer thing. You do have a ton of credits. You're also missing a couple zones for Silvia passive, which you typically want to have by day 2 night, day 3 morning. A good way to tell is if you open your map, it'll like highlight which zones you haven't been to, and it'll gray out which ones that you haven't or that you don't need. It doesn't show it in spectator mode, unfortunately, but typically with Silvia, I do think you go to second battle zone if you skip first one, so make sure you're on time for that. You also have copious amounts of credits, so just be sure that you're getting your Devil's Marksman online a little bit earlier, so it's a necessary upgrade for Silvia. I do like how the emphasis you have on hunt rotations is, but we're spending a little bit too much time on hunting and not contesting objectives. Another thing that like Jynx pointed out in a few streams ago is that when you do spend this much time taking hunts and not taking fights with players, we've killed a bot, but your defense mastery is also going to be incredibly low, which is going to lead for you to get blown up, especially with Silvia already being a fairly squishy character. Chiaras are a huge problem for stat checking, so I can probably figure out how this game is going to go. It's probably going to be a Chiara one-shot, but just making sure that you're spending equal time contesting and skirmishing with players as well. We do a mastery check. I is at 14, this Chiara is at 10, and this Chiara is at 13. With the exception of this Chiara, you're one of the stronger people in the lobby, right? So there's no point to not be contesting these objectives. You can also group these bears up. It's a little bit more difficult. If they're mutant, definitely don't do it, but there's defense mastery, yes. There's defense and health mastery, but they are getting rid of health mastery in 1.0. If I can do this from memory, there is weapon mastery, crafting mastery, searching mastery, defensive mastery, health mastery, and trap mastery, I believe. Yeah, it scales based on how much damage you take. Correct. Defense mastery is based on how much damage you take. Health mastery is based on how much food you craft. And Bianca, our vampire queen. Food mastery, it's not really food mastery, it's just health mastery. It's also not really viable to like focus on it. The only ones that really matter are weapon mastery, defense mastery, I guess trap mastery at some point for some characters. Yeah, health mastery is fake, don't worry about it. It's getting removed anyway, so honestly don't worry about it. Good rotations again. We got the bears initially, so we're back to getting them again. I would hang around Wick though, so we still don't have passive filled. It's 17. Just be conscious of your passive. You might just need to change your build. That would probably deal with most of the issues in this, but you should 100% be at least shadowing Wick in this situation, especially because you have 3 transitions. This eye is a little bit strong. This Chiara you'll probably be able to stat check. And this Chiara is stronger than everyone else. She's kind of just gonna run over this lobby. She might die here though, because she's doesn't have enough amp to one-shot. Especially because Wick is heading your way now too, right? And no one is around it. So realistically, you could fully send it on Wick. Now I know you won't know that because you have no indication that there's no one in alley, but it's kind of just something you get a feel for, right? Like if you know Wick spawned over here and like walked all the way through these zones and hasn't pulled aggro once, either someone spent like a ton of time shadowing it and that's time they didn't spend farming and getting stronger, or it's free. So I'm glad you started it up. Good. This is a good play here. Silvia Wick combo I think is 1 full spell rotation, the 1 full bike rotation, and then you hop off pistol skill to get your cooldowns, and then do a full spell rotation again. It's how you'll avoid taking as much damage as you did. It's a little complicated because you have to do it a certain way, but if you do find yourself in this situation, you did the right thing where you pull off, heal back up, and then re-engage with it. You will have to chase it down though. I would hop on bike here because you had radar scan, so you know that the only person then that can TP onto you is this Chiara. I is gonna end up TPing onto it here. So we do give Wick away. It's just a little unfortunate. But you made the right play, right? The execution was a little scuffed, but this is the right play. And I think that's almost more important when you're learning the game. The only way that you're gonna like learn to take Wick better is by taking Wick and watching people take Wick and then applying it yourself. So I fully support what you did. That's good. Just make sure we work on getting better execution for it. Gold chest gonna be spawning here. Actually, I think it's already spawned. I think this is a visual glitch. So I would, well, maybe it's not. If this doesn't spawn yet, I would hang around here to grab it. You know the Chiara is around this area because of radar scan. You can kind of infer that she'll go up to get... She's either going to go up to get this one or fight you. And if she tries to fight you on this one, you just leave because she's stronger. You could, I guess, call in a force core here with the Avenue console, but I think this is a little bit riskier. You should see pings on the map here, so I think they killed the chicken in their fight, so you know that you're at least kind of safe on this side.
Now I miss the old days.
Gonna have enough for blood. This might be a good third party. I don't think you'll...
Check if there's any out there. There's no one to trade.
Yeah. Oh, this is where you go right onto the Chiara, right? Like you see her ult run out. Yeah, good bike. I'm actually surprised this Chiara killed the other Chiara. I thought the other Chiara would win. Yeah, just bike and you should be able to kill her. This is good. Make sure that you do get the finish flag like more so over here because we did miss the finish flag in this corridor, which is a little tough. But we have final fight with Aya. If you are looking at your map, you will be able to see this yellow chest disappear, and you should know that Aya's over here, even if you don't check it right away. If you're checking your map every so often, which you should be doing, you'll see that that yellow chest disappeared. So you can infer that Aya's on this side of the map. It's more of an advanced tip. It's kind of hard to do. Just get in the habit of like periodically checking your map in situations. Alternatively, she'll see the same thing when you take this yellow chest. Wick without quench is a pain. Yeah. You are gonna have to TP into temple. Hopefully you don't TP on top of her. She's currently over here, so you should be fine as long as you don't get this spawn here. It's 1 in 4. Holy orders here would be good to put on. Gonna bike in. She's gonna see you do this because she has radar scan. Realistically, she holds this right here, and there's lots of trap prep in temple. You got bamboo in there. So I would have rather seen you try to take the 1 in 4 and TP in. Realistically, there should be no way she lets you enter this zone, especially with how much timer you'd have to burn to walk in. Also, you want to be saving your tire at this point. This is kind of your escape ability. If I ease into you or is channeling ult, which she probably won't do because she's AR, I believe. Yeah, she's AR. That's when you'll want to use it. She also has Wick, which, I'm not gonna lie, again, you could probably time out if you TP'd in, but this is pretty unwinnable at this point, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. That's kind of the theme for today, is just like being aware of what's going on. Maybe I'll do like a quick tip short about it, but yeah, ARI with Wick at that point is pretty unfightable, especially for Silvia. Gotta have to hope you one shot, but she has myth boots and burgundy, so you're not gonna do that anyway. You could potentially play for timer had you have TP'd in, but I honestly think like maybe even TPing on her head was probably what could have been the stronger play, because had you have landed on her head, like it's a better shot at one-shotting her than trying to walk up to her. I am hoping we see an AR rework for 1.0 in the next character change, hopefully, but I don't think it's likely at this point, considering we've gotten 2 already and they haven't talked about it. Overall, though, I do like your knowledge of hunt rotations. They were pretty good. I think a little bit of stuff to clean up there. We spent a little bit too much time with hunts. That's another reason why you melted. Again, it's the defense mastery that we talked about. Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Feline, for coming out. Thank you all guys for coming out. I really appreciate it. I like doing these streams. They're a lot of fun. I like talking to you guys. We'll do like small Q&A, I guess, if anyone has any questions about anything. My chat is still behind. Why is my chat so slow on my on-screen chat? I'll have to fix that too. I'll also look into the stream elements bot. We'll get that fixed. But we did talk about the dev journal at the beginning, so there's not too much time. How'd my rank season go? We're doing okay. I peaked at 14th in North America. I think I'm sitting at 19th now. I had a rough night last night for ranked. Lost like 60 LP, only managed to get like 25 of it back. It's a little bit rough because I'm getting put in a bunch of plat queues, and like I'm like getting like 2 kills and coming like 7th. Like even though they're not battle zone kills, and I'm still losing like 15 LP, which is rough. But hopefully that gets fixed in 1.0 as well. But yeah, we're currently still top 20. We're Diamond 2. I think I demoted from Diamond 1, so hopefully we'll hit Mithril soon. I had some matches like the Aya, but with Rio, but lost in my match history. Any way to find it? Yeah, dac.gg. It keeps all your match history. I'll show you how to do that really quick. If you go to dac.gg/en and then click Eternal Return, you have Genshin Impact now. Just type in your name into the search bar, or mistype it like me, and then your entire match history will be here. Sometimes the textures break. This is why Wilson shows up. You just have to refresh to fix it, but it will show more match history than the client, and you can go back like however many pages to do so. Like, it's showing me match history from May 2nd, but you could realistically go back to season 1 and find your match history, so you should be able to find all of it. Welcome. Oh, clicked the wrong tab. Jump scared me. I will say though, only replays from the current patch show up. So if you do try to find an old game, you won't be able to watch it. It has to be from the current patch. And there is a patch tomorrow. What is your least favorite part of 1.0 dev updates? So far, it's probably going to have to be the mastery changes. Probably because I think they weren't fully explained. And I'm a little concerned about just giving AP and AMP to every character, whether they need it or not, and no utility, but that's probably the least favorite. Super exciting for everything else though. I think a lot of all the other stuff is pretty much good changes. Top 20 EU. Let's go, Jynx. Super exciting to hear. Between a character you're naturally good at versus a character you like the design and playstyle, which one would you recommend? Both. I don't think you have to limit yourself. If you want to climb and learn the game, I recommend sticking to one character that feels comfortable to you. And if you don't have that, then trying to pick like meta characters. But catering to yourself is always better than following the rules, so to speak. I like doing things that are best for you. So if there's a character you're naturally good at, I would recommend playing that more so than trying to conform to a meta. Hi, I'm new to the game and I main Luke. How is generally in the game? Is he good? Luke's pretty good. You do have to worry about getting your upgrades online first. He kind of needs them to contest things and take fights. But for the most part, keep your mastery high. You'll have to worry a little bit about getting kited. As long as you have good skill shot accuracy and you're gap closing with your E, whether it's through a camera or onto a person, you should have pretty good chances at fighting most characters. You're a little bit stat checky as well, so if you do have a lead and you get all your empowered W down while fighting a character, you should be able to get the kill. I'm not even top 200 EU. That'll change next week, 100%. I would probably see you in the top 50. What is your Rozzi versus my matchup? I feel like I can't stick to her with double E. Should I whip skill to engage? I'm going to keep it real. I think Mai is probably Rozzi's worst matchup. It's borderline unplayable for Rozzi just because you shouldn't ever get kited by her. It's a little bit easier for Rozzi to get away if you're starting the fight with 0 pins. I would start the fight, if you're going from the Mai side, start the fight with having 2 pins up. Wait for her to use her spells and then use E, the second E to taunt. You can E1 into her, but just be careful of how much damage she unloads back at you. Use your W whenever you're like committing to the fight. Rozzi has no poke spells, so she realistically can't just stand there and auto you. And if she does, then yeah, open the fight with whip skill. Whip skill into Q, W. Rozzi pretty much his only play is to WQ away or WR away. And what you can do is whenever she starts to get too much space from you, just alter. If you're nullifying her damage with your W, you shouldn't have to ever ult yourself. Dodging the ult explosion is kind of fake. You don't need to do that with Mai. You can just ult her and then gap close with ease to get back onto her. She shouldn't be able to get away from you. Unless you start the fight with no pins and you E without using pins. Yeah, for sure, you'll be able to review your own matches. Feline, you'll definitely hit plat. You're a good player, Feline. You'll 100% hit plat. I don't know if you'll... I know you and Adri have that bet on like him versus a side character. I don't know if you'll pass him, but you'll definitely hit plat. I have full confidence in you. Do I prefer easy or hard characters? I like not necessarily easy or hard characters. I like feeling like I'm playing the character to their full potential. I like Rozzi a lot because I feel like everything I do with her like comes down to like user error. Like it doesn't feel like there's anything I can do that I can't do with her per se, where like some of the other characters I feel like there's some like mechanical things or situations where I feel like I don't use the character to their full potential. I feel like with Rozzi, I use her pretty well. What's a character you don't really play that you wish you played more? Good question. I actually like that question a lot. Probably Yan. I really don't like playing Yan, but well, I don't wish I played Yan more. I wish I was good at Yan. I think he's like really fun to watch. I feel like there's a lot of shit you can do on him, but I just can't click with that character, so I don't play him at all. I wish I played Estelle more. I think Estelle's a really cute character. I just don't like her playstyle. Hey Levi, I'm a returning player to your break and was wondering how you airdropped the medal for your Rozzi build. The mechanic wasn't around when I played and I can't find a resource on how to use it. You just right click it. I will show you in a custom game. You just have to have the amount of credits for it. I'll talk about credits at some point in the video, so look out for that. But you just have to have enough credits to purchase it, which you will at the start of the game. So once 1 minute into game hits, you'll be able to purchase it. We'll just wait for the... Oh, actually, I think I can advance time. Oh, it just advances the day. It doesn't advance the clock. Anyways, so like once it's 1 minute into the day, which you can see up here, when this hits like 1:05, you just right click on the item. It says remote drone not available yet because the timer's not high enough, but as long as you have the credits, it always costs 15 credits to call something in. So you just right click. Hopefully that helps. I'll show it once the timer actually gets there, but I'll answer questions until then. Please do not force me to use my full power. Easy character is easy wins at low elos from my experience. Somewhat, yes. I think when you're in lower elos, there's a lot more you can do to exploit to win the game. Okay, so a minute and 5 game, you see on the left it said remote drone is online. You just click this and then it appears in your inventory. You do have to have the spot open. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot you can do in lower elos to exploit getting wins, where as you get to higher elos, you won't be able to do that. You'll have to play more optimally. You're learning Laura at the moment? Laura's a fun character. I really like Laura. I played a lot of Laura on release. What's the thing you're looking forward to most in 1.0? All the character changes. Specifically, a lot of Rozzi's bad matchups are getting nerfed. Ava, Adela, Cicella, they're all getting their knees chopped off. Adriana even. Like, I'm super excited to be able to deal with a bunch of those characters. I need to sort out my verification so I can actually talk in your chat. And been like that with Karla, played a bit in GR recently. Oh, is there like a YouTube verification thing? What are some characters that you think are in need of a nerf? I think Bianca needs a nerf. But she's kind of getting... Oh, that's another one. That's like hard for Rozzi to deal with. She is getting kind of nerfed. Daniel. I think Daniel's super toxic. think that's mostly it for the oppressive ones. Maybe even Emma. I like people like Emma keeps getting hard nerfed, and I think she's still a little too strong. Just I think of her playstyle is just tough to deal with for a lot of characters. If you could choose one skin from ISBS to bring to ERBS, what would you pick? I like the, and you'll probably appreciate this, Jynx, but I really like the Jackie Sua crossover skin for Sua. I really wish they'd bring in the April Fool skins as like the crossover skins. I think a lot of like the outfit swaps are really neat, but I really like the Jackie one for Sua. Buff Rio? Yeah, Rio's kind of weak right now. I feel like Karla will get some kind of rework, to be honest. She might get a nerf. I don't know if she'll get a rework. Karla does really well in tournaments. Same with Ekion. Karla and Ekion do really well in tournaments. Do you have any tips for IRM? I picked her up recently and I'm having trouble with people jumping on me and killing me all quickly. Focus on your spacing. A lot of like IRM matchups require you to like dip in and out of fights, which if you're using your fish jump properly, you should be able to hop out quick enough before you get hit by a bunch of stuff. You also have to kind of worry about how close you're getting with your W, so just work on keeping some space in between you and your opponents. The only time you should ever be in melee range really is if you're cat queuing. But if try to be conscious of where your fishes are so that you can jump and get the bonus range. I want Sweet Rozzi. I like Sweet Rozzi a lot. I also like Butler Rozzi. I think Butler Rozzi's really nice. I do want to see some of the ISBS skins come in. Mommy Laura? Yeah. They knew what they were doing about that skin. I've been saying this for ages. I really want the Lumia Island Airlines Battle Pass. Yeah, I think I saw you talking about that in someone else's chat, Feline. I talked about it a bit on Twitter, where I think like an Airlines Battle Pass would be cool. I'm excited to see them fucking obliterate Sua's W. I think they're gonna get rid of her EQ knockup, personally. I think E will just be a gap close. I don't think there'll be an interaction at all if you hit E and then Q. Like maybe bonus damage on the passive, but I don't think it'll be a knockup. Other thing you can do, Quinn, is if you check out Clue on Twitch. Clue plays a lot of IRM and should be able to get some gameplay from him as well. Suho weak trust. I think that'd be a terrifyingly horrible idea, personally. I think it would probably gut her pretty hard, which I don't typically have a problem with Sua playing Rozzi. But I know a lot of characters hate fighting Sua. Especially considering how hard it is to hit Q on all these jumpy shits. Yeah, I mean, like, I think Nimble Neuron have showed that they have no problem with characters, like, being poor. Like, I know, like, Sua could probably take one nerf and still be, like, mid-tier. If she takes a couple, she'll probably be bottom tier. But I don't think Nimble Neuron has a problem with having characters sit bottom tier, considering how bad Lennox has been for a while. Lennox and Rio specifically. Yeah, check out Clue, check out Lucy. They both stream IRM gameplay. Never countered Sua before. Is she really that strong? She's just very overwhelming. If you get hit by Q, like in the stun portion, you're gonna get followed up by a ton of damage very quickly. Being poor, remember Celine? No one else does either. She's dead in the dirt. Yeah, Celine's not great right now either. Celine on release was also a meme. I appreciate you guys coming out the stream. I am going to head out now though. Thank you so much for joining me on this coaching stream. I'll be sure to put out another forum on Thursday if you'd like to submit your replays. Just as a heads up, if we do end up getting like 7 or more like submissions, I will probably have to introduce like the random selection where I have to pick and choose ones to get through, just so I'm not streaming all day to get through them. If that is the case, I will always pick the first 3 submissions, so be sure to submit early as possible. I usually put out the forum Thursday morning after the patch, so look out for that. Alternatively, you can also turn the bell on. Be sure to check out the doc if you want to check if you've had a past replay or the characters that have been reviewed. Maybe someone else has asked for a replay of your character, so you can always watch that and hopefully get some tips on that if you have character-specific questions. Man, if there's one thing I hate about streaming on YouTube is that like I can't do raids. I'd love to like send you guys over to someone, but you'd have to go over to Twitch because no one else streams on YouTube. Unfortunately, but hopefully you guys have a good rest of your day. I will be queuing ranked tonight, hopefully, so if you're also queuing ranked, hope to see you there. If not, have a great rest of your week and have a good rest of today. Thank you so much for coming. And I have emotes on the work. I'll make an announcement about that soon. Bye.